Hello, everybody. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Behind Them Sticks with your boy Ham Solo. Go on ahead, do me a favor, hit that like button. Also, go on ahead and share this out so all these great people within the gaming community can see these awesome creators and other gamers throughout the world. But let's move forward. Who I got right here with me is a fantastic, really nice dude. Mr. Bad Bit is his name, and he actually has a channel on YouTube called The Trophy Room. Go check that out. Really nice individual. And I've also seen this guy on other shows, and the funny part was, it was the first time I met, or actually had an interaction with Mr. Bad Bit. I just posted something random about Activision and them doing a Guitar Hero in VR, and you just lost your mind at that moment. You're just like, get this dude a job, and I was just like, I like this guy. This guy's really nice.
Yeah, man, that's a smart idea.
So I thought that was really cool. He thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
We were just kind of, chit chatting a little bit in the chat of Mr. Boom's podcast that day, and I ended up reaching out to him and asking him if he would like to be on the show, and he agreed. So we're here. Hello, everyone.
What up? What up? Thank you for having me, by the way, and thank you for all the understanding, because the past, God, I don't know, 3 months really have been like a blur. It's been really fast, like a lot of things changing in my life, both on the podcast front and on the personal front. So, this was literally, I think, like months in the making. So thank you for making the time, cutting out a little piece of your day and letting me invade it.
Absolutely, brother. Well, I'm happy to have you here. And the thing I've been trying to do for people, whether it's working or not, is beyond me. But I've been trying to schedule people like almost a month in advance, so then they have time to adjust, or they have more days to choose from. It's a lot better to me than just hollering and being like, yo, you want to be on my show next week, or you want to be on my show tomorrow? Because it kind of gets a little bit at me when people do that to me, when they just hit me up and be like, hey, I got a show tomorrow, you want to be on? I'm just like, wish you would have hit me up at least a few days in advance and just gave me some time to think, hey, do I have something going on? Because I have committed to things and then had something else going on and ended up my whole day being a podcast.
Yeah, that's happened several times.
I'm expecting that to happen in the future more, but at the same time, I want to have more control over it, and I feel like it kind of goes with respect as well of somebody's time.
Yeah, it's so like when it comes to like the trophy room, like we don't do many guests at all, because it is usually just you're working with my schedule, you're working with Kyle's schedule, and we're trying to navigate our best for like who's going to be able to fit that slot. So we really try our best to just, it's just us. And even then, sometimes it is just a challenge to just get everything scheduled out. And Kyle will tell you, I am like a huge control freak. So like, a Wednesday recording of the trophy room is literally just all of it's prepped for the podcast, and then we record it, and then like I go to sleep at 2 a.m. every Wednesday, or every technically Thursday. So it's a big production, man. I don't envy it.
Oh man, so you stay working when that podcast comes around.
Oh yeah. Because so my podcast, the Trophy Room, it is centered. So for the most part, I think of it as a YouTube podcast, or not YouTube. Sorry, think of it as an iTunes podcast. I think of it as a Spotify podcast, and I really do feel like though YouTube is very much like secondary to me, doesn't mean like it's an afterthought. So, rendering a YouTube video, depending on, usually takes about 40 minutes to get out the door, but we try our best to put as much production in it as we can, because we feel as though the Apple and Spotify communities are sticklers when it comes to good audio. So we really try. I I pride myself on being the best sounding podcast out there.
Yeah, I definitely would like to work on my audio equipment. I get super jealous when I see like Iron Lord's podcast and they got the whole setup. Everything's looking just fantastic. Everyone looks pretty uniform when it comes to like their type of setup, and just the way that team kind of works is insane. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like they're the ones that kind of told me kind of how to kick my podcast off. Like I hit up King David first, and King David was like, "Yo, like I can tell you a few things, but the real artist, you know, working this portrait is Lord Attic." So he shot me over to him, and Lord Attic told me what I need to do, but like just going ahead and get started and then figure it out down the road, because that's pretty much how it goes. You'll figure out
Yeah.
what you need as you need it, but make sure you have at least like some sort of basic mic, decent audio, something kind of catchy at first just to kind of get people up.
Yeah. So like the what I'm running right now so that you could see me. This is my little pointer
Your
right here.
background's nice, by the way, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is all just memorabilia and stuff in the back. Got a nice little light. But like the camera that we're working on with is like a Sony A6000. That's like a discontinued camera, but it's around like I think you could get it for around $600. I got this Go XLR right here. That was like 150, 200. I forget. The cloud booster, which boosts the gain of this mic because it comes in rather soft at 150, and then we got this microphone itself, which is $400.
Man, stacking.
And that is all because of patreon.com/PS Trophy. It really does keep the show running because like even this computer, all Patreon funded.
That's
You
dope, though, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's all,
a
and,
lot of
and
work.
even that is a ton of work. So like now this year is getting Kyle up to speed and up to snuff, and getting him all the doodads that I just mentioned here, which is gonna run us a steep penny. And then we got some really cool ideas that we're working on that I don't think anybody in this space is even gonna be remotely close of touching. So
Oh,
we
okay.
got some big plans.
You're staying innovative. That's really cool.
Yeah, man. So like literally like when it comes to like game of the year stuff, once that show ended, we had like a little rapport of like a modem of like what worked, what didn't, where we can improve, and what we will improve upon in the next go.
Well, you know
So
what, man?
it's stuff like that.
I see the ambition and I hear the ambition. Like it's there. You want to grow. You want to get better. I mean, you're climbing and trying
Thanks, man. I
your
appreciate it.
hardest. So like, I can do nothing but give you a hand, bro. Like keep pushing.
Thank you,
Keep
thank you.
pushing, brother. Keep pushing.
Thank you. I
But
appreciate that.
But before we get into all of the questions and everything that I have for you, I'm going to shout out the chat real quick because that's very important to do. I appreciate everybody that's here. You know, Too Big, I see you. You definitely made your mark here first, putting that in the chat before I was even here. I logged in and I was like, oh, I got a fan before my show now. This is kind of nice, growing a little bit. Let's go. Yeah, Too Big, Blind, Sensei, you know, pretty much like that whole Talk Story podcast crew. They're really good people. Very, very helpful, and really nice to talk to and kick it with, like behind the scenes. Like I ended up talking to a lot of these people in party chats and on the PlayStation or on the Xbox or even on PC sometimes. So it's really cool to be able to chat with those guys. They're here tonight. Mr. Joanna Dark's out there. What up, brother? Bushido just stopped in. So we got some fantastic people out here tonight. Thank you for stopping by, you guys. And I'm sure there will be more to come here shortly. But let's go on ahead and move forward. The first thing I wanted to do is kind of just have you plainly lay out where everybody can either find you in the gaming area or on the social media platforms. So just go on ahead and announce yourself real quick. I'll probably have you do it one more time before we leave.
Yeah.
Shoot.
So you can find me literally everywhere at Mr. Bad Bit. That's it. That's it. That's all. Whether it's PSN, whether it's PlayStation, whether that's Xbox Live. I think I changed it. I don't know. I had to send my Xbox Series X back because the HDMI port's dead. But nonetheless, whether it's Twitter, at Mr. Badbit is the best place you can find me. And you can find the show, The Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast, wherever you find your podcast service of choice, and on YouTube and on Twitter at PS Trophy Room.
All right.
Nailing it.
Yeah, man, that was smooth. That was crispy. I like it. So, Mr. Badbit, what you playing right now, brother? What's happening on the gaming side of life?
Not a whole lot, man. It's been busy. It's been busy the past, again, like 3 months. So I balanced somehow Horizon with Elden Ring, and I loved both of them. Obviously, Elden Ring's the goatee right now. Have played a little bit of Tiny Tina's. I definitely need to get back to that. So hopefully, maybe even I'll start streaming something. But more than Tiny Tina's, I've been playing a crap ton of Fortnite and a crap ton of Nobody Saves the World from Drinkbox Studios, which is a awesome, clever little indie that is inspired by the classic 2D Zeldas with a really awesome twist of being able to turn into different classes on the fly, and literally turning into things like a fly or a knight or an archer, and really the gameplay morphing as you morph into each of these various characters. It's a ton of fun. It's honestly one of my favorite games I've played this year. So I'm going for the plat on that right now. Mm-hmm. So hopefully by Trek to Yomi, I have that all situated, and I have hopefully, Tiny Tina's as well wrapped up. But I've been playing a lot. I'm not deep enough to give like a full solid, like, here's my thoughts, but I will say it is a fantastic time. Like I'm really enjoying myself as someone who isn't like a big Borderlands person. My first Borderlands, truth be told, technically was 2, but I didn't have a crew to play it with me, so I dropped out rather early. I played through 3 and I didn't think it was great. I think the writing was just a ton of shit jokes. And I think shit jokes are incredibly lazy, So for me, walking into Tiny Tina's, I was enthused. I was excited because I love the cast. Like, Will Arnett's the bad guy, right? Like, you have comedians in comedic roles. They're going to be able to improv and I think really own their characters better than a traditional actor would. So that is what I thought walking in. That's exactly what I'm getting. I think this is by far the funniest Borderlands. Like, a lot of the jokes are getting to me. Like, early on, Will Arnett, literally while you're doing like a side quest, he's like, "Hey, how am I doing on the villain front? Like, am I good? Like, is there like someone close that I could kill? Is there like a mentor character I could kill off? Like, let me know how I could be a better bad guy to you." And when I heard that line, I just lost my shit. I'm like, that's a nice little fourth wall break. So I'm digging it. But at the same exact time, to me, it does feel more Borderlands 3. Like, I'm not a big like Borderlands person, so I can't pinpoint where this gameplay truly differs from Borderlands 3. But I think the writing alone really improves this game and makes it a really fun experience that I've been enjoying so far. It's not like gonna be my game of the year or anything, but it's a ton of fun.
Well, I'm happy you're enjoying it because I paid $90 and I'm not having any fun.
Oh, no. Just gameplay not doing it for you?
No, the gameplay actually... Well, there's pieces of the gameplay that are brilliant. The actual fighting and magic, brilliant. Like, better than throwing a million grenades all the time. It just seems a little bit more engaging. The part that I don't like about it is all the loading screens going from the board to them talking to them in the game, then I walk a couple steps and then go to something else that's another loading screen, and then if you're playing multiplayer at all, it looks like the game is breaking, like right in front of you. It like looks terrible when it's happening. So like I was just a little disappointed in that, and for me, I know you said you enjoyed this, but the writing just is because
Not hitting.
it's not hitting for me for the fact that like Borderlands, I'm a Borderlands 2 guy, so like I'm used to like the seriousness, people dying, and like you, but like I understand Tiny Tina's is kind of like this is literally just a story and a game that they're playing at a board, and you're just kind of in the story,
Yeah.
playing as a character, and you get to go through like these dungeons and whatnot, just Dungeons and Dragons, pretty much with Borderlands. But I don't know. It's just different, but at the same time, kind of the same. It's just not. I don't know. Just the story just isn't hitting the same way that it did. And
fair enough.
3 was actually taking. So like I thought 1 was really good, 2 was even better, and then they had like the Tales game, which a lot of people think is pretty good, and they had the the collection kind of thing where you
Right.
I don't remember. I know like a DLC thing came out, and then they ended up adding it all into like one game where it's like a big collection of it all.
Yeah. The name's escaping me, but I know what you're talking about.
The prequel. It was called the prequel.
Right. The pre-sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had that, which was okay, and that's where I put Tiny Tina's right now, is with the pre-sequel. That's how it feels when I play that game. But there's some new cool elements, but they played with that in pre-sequel as well. Is they played with some new elements in the game, different kind of way of storytelling, and I think what's disconnecting the most for me in this game is that my character is made up, so I have no story.
Right, you feel like you don't have any true agency as a character, which I got a little bit of that as well. But like a part of me is like, well, I was just an Elden Lord, so maybe I could take this as a little bit of a break.
And you know what? Maybe Elden Ring kind of ruined that game a little bit for me, because I was so into Elden Ring, and then the next game I had to play after that was Tiny Tina's, and I'm just like, this isn't it.
Dude, so like I was playing Horizon Forbidden West, and I was like, this is my game of the year, man. It's gonna be even hard for Elden Ring to really surpass this. And then Elden Ring came out, and I'm like, oh, I see a lot of flaws with Horizon now. All of a sudden, like that game is so good that whatever game you're going to play afterwards is going to feel like it's gonna feel, exactly.
Not good enough.
Yeah.
It's like that one, bad girl that you got, and then everybody else you date is just kind of you're always comparing. You're always comparing to that.
They're never going to be Casey. Casey was in the league of her own.
Yeah. All right, so that's what you're playing right now. You're finishing up a few games.
That's right.
And when we were talking, before the show, I ask everybody this question, like, what's the first console that you play and stuff like that. And you happened to tell me a weird thing. Like, you said that you don't even know how you ended up with a Nintendo in your house.
Yeah.
But that was the first console that you were around.
Yeah, it's one of my first memories. I was in Middletown, New York. Shout out to that godforsaken town. But like, I was playing. I was huddled around the Mitsubishi TV that we had in our home. That's right. We're going
back. Was it the big screen?
Oh yeah, but like it was like wood surrounding it.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about, with the big old speaker on the bottom.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
The pure times, man. I miss them. Let's go back.
They had the subs on the bottom, and it really shook your floor. But was it one of those that you could roll around?
No, dude. This one had no wheels. It was just hardwood.
Oh no! So that sucker was heavy then.
Oh yeah, and they'd use us practically as slave labor to lug that thing. I remember moving to what I consider my hometown now, like lugging that thing to the room was just like, okay, so it's gonna stay here until we have to toss this thing out. Everybody agrees. Everybody agrees. Right. It was nuts. But right next to it, we had an NES, and because I'm like 2 years old or whatever, I have no concept of money, finance, or anything. So like, it literally was just there one day. Like, My memory with the NES is it's on the side of the TV. I'm watching my brother play it.
Okay.
And he's playing Back to the Future. He's playing The Rocketeer. Which let's bring back The Rocketeer. You know? Let's do it. Rocketeer is dope. So like, playing all these like movie to games, but we didn't know any better, so we were having a blast. And then somewhere along the lines, what I truly consider would be the first console is the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
The
Sounds
GOAT.
like we got some history. Oh wow. Yeah, we got some history there.
Yeah,
We
man.
got some history there. All right, now tell
So
me
good.
a few games that were that really grabbed a hold of you, and you were like, all right, I'm playing this whole afternoon.
Yeah, man. The best Mario game. Let's just talk about it. Super Mario World.
Yes, sir.
Ba 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 da ba. That's it slapped. God, let's do it. Let's get a metal version of that. Let's drop it. But yeah, that is also, I think, still, I think it's like Super Mario's first world and Bloodborne's first world are the best first levels you can get in a video game. So that I remember getting all the colored Yoshis. You kidding me? Oh my god, all the memories.
Yeah, all the eggs and stuff like that.
The Power Rangers game. Let's talk about it. Amazing. Mighty Morphin.
I never got into that game because I was like, it was weird. My family forbid me to like the Power Rangers because they thought it was just too kiddie at the time. It was more or less
Oh, really?
the stepdad that didn't like it for some weird reason. But I had Power Ranger toys and he straight up just threw them away. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, my dad was a sadistic man. We would buy Super Soakers and like he'd get annoyed at us because we use them in the house, and then he'd just be like, "Come here, snatch it!" And while we're trying to run away from it, he's like, "Watch what I'm gonna do," and he just break it right in front of us.
Oh,
Like a sadistic son of a bitch. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, I won't do it again. I won't do it again. He's like, I will break you.
Damn.
But no, yeah. So like Mighty Morphin, you got the and like those boss battles when you're in the Megazord. Oh my god, dope. We're talking Street Fighter. We're talking Turtles in Time.
Oh yeah,
like
Turtles in Time.
Going back to a blockbuster, man, and just ordering any dumb little game that you find. Like that was the Super Nintendo for us. So damn good. That console is chef's kiss.
It is, and it seems like a freaking indestructible piece of hardware.
Yeah.
Like that thing is the only thing that it loses a fight to is the sun. Because that thing will turn cigarette yellow.
I got a cigarette yellow Super Nintendo. So the one thing that I will never forgive my brother, he sold our original Super Nintendo.
Ooh, sounds
Piece
like
of
that
shit.
sounds like that was a tough moment for you, bro.
Yeah, he traded in for Splinter Cell.
Ooh, for one game?
Yep. He didn't even beat Splinter Cell, guys.
Didn't even beat
He didn't even beat it. So when people go,
You're watching him like a hawk.
Yeah, he's like, I can't make it past the first level. I'm like, you sold childhood memories for this? You son of a bitch.
Damn. Rough as hell.
Yeah.
So then after the Super Nintendo, would you consider yourself a gamer at that point?
Oh yeah, man. I've been a gamer since you got I had a controller in my hands. That's just me. To me as well. So I do have problems, man, because like I got this right here, got an Xbox controller, got a dual sense, and then right here, come over here, come on, I need to illustrate something. There you go. I got the Switch controller, and then I'm not even done. This is all on a desk. And then I got my Steam Deck.
Oh,
I have to have the things. I have to have them. I just
feel you there.
to me, like I like tech. Tech is great, but like game tech is like I need to have the thing.
Yeah.
That's always been my deal.
I have that similar addiction. That whole wall behind me under the eyeballs, right over there, that whole shelf is game systems.
Yeah.
All of them are just different systems. Sega, Genesis, on top of a CD with a 32X on top of it, and
I
all
I
that stuff.
do I will let the chat know. Our Sega Genesis, we still have it. It's in the basement
Nice.
somewhere. So that didn't go. But the Super Nintendo, the console we used the most, my brother said that can go. But the Sega Genesis may live. The console that we pretty much just played Sonic on. He said, let that one live. Throw the rest in the trash.
Sonic's fire, though. It's hard to tear yourself away from that one game. I understand because I'm a Sega stan. I get it. I get it. But at the same time, selling a console for one game is just never a good idea.
No.
I mean, the only reason I ever sold my console was to upgrade to the next console.
Yes. So that's what I do now. So, I loved my PS4. It was a great console. Sold it for a PlayStation 4 Pro. Sold that for the PlayStation 5. Or actually, no. Sold it for the Series X because the PlayStation 5 was a gift. So yeah, like to me, I always upgrade the console. I'm not like ever since my brother killed the one I love right in front of me, I never felt attached. So
Yeah.
my brother's a real son of a bitch. I gotta go.
Yeah,
kick
it
his
sounds
ass
like you
next
got
time I
some
see him.
beef. Sounds like y'all got some beef.
I'll never forgive him. I like that is unforgivable, but
Painful moments, brother. Painful moments. Now, so I'm guessing after the SNES, you moved on to what, like the 64, or was that your first time dabbling in the PlayStation?
No. Oh, you'll like when I finally get deep into PlayStation. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I am very interested in that part.
So I was a Nintendo kid, straight up. My grandma had a PlayStation 1, but she didn't have like a memory card, and they had a whole bunch of demo discs. So I played the shit out of like Siphon Filter, but I played the shit out of the first half of Siphon Filter.
Level, or
Yeah.
like the first couple of things to do.
Yeah. And then like I loved Crash, but I played the same level over and over. So they didn't get the concept. Now I played, I believe, like the PlayStation version of like Wave Race, which is dope as hell on the PlayStation. I forget what that was called. But I like Wipeout.
There's Wipeout, yeah.
We also played like the Diablo version of Star Wars. I think it was called like Battle Chasers or something. Awful, but loved it. Star Wars Masters of Terracossi.
Wait, the what? The what version of what?
There was like a Diablo version of Star Wars.
Oh,
let me get this out here. Yeah, Star Wars Diablo game or Diablo clone.
I'm trying to think of what that was, because at first I was
Star Wars Uprising.
At first I thought you were talking about the Racer Star Wars game that was on the 64.
Yeah, no, I forget what it was called, but nonetheless, I played the shit out of that. So that's the other thing. My real love is Star Wars. I love it. So anywhere I see a Star Wars, we go to it. So we bought like all the like PlayStation Star Wars games, but like the N64 was it. Like you were playing Rogue Squadron, we're playing Shadows of the Empire. Like we are playing, Super Mario 64, Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, like you name it, we're playing it. So that was like my console of choice. That's actually, if I had to think of like the dominant force of my childhood, probably be the N64, the original Xbox.
Wow, really?
We're getting crazy.
Yeah. You're moving
Mr.
all
PlayStation.
over the place right now.
That's right.
So
that's right.
So on the 64, did you end up getting the whole like expansion piece for it?
Oh yeah, dude! For Star Fox, the Rumble Pack. Yeah, shit was tight.
Well, I'm talking about not the Rumble Pack, but like the cartridge thing that
the RAM.
The RAM. Yeah,
for Donkey Kong.
Yep. You had to get it for Donkey Kong and like Perfect Dark and some of those more intense games.
Yeah, I remember. So we're still rocking the Mitsubishi TV, right? And we had an argument to get the N64. We somehow got my dad to do it, and it wouldn't work well. It was like only in like black and white because the Mitsubishi was old. So we had to get like a cable adapter. And I remember my father being pissed the morning after driving to Toys R Us. He's like, you're never buying another console thing ever. This is it. This is the last thing. So enjoy it, because I hate you guys.
Oh
He
my
was not a
goodness.
fan. He was not a fan. But yeah, we got it. We played. I was Dash Rendar. It was dope. You know.
Bro, that's pretty deep.
Yeah, my dad hated video games, and he's like, he's like, this is never gonna pay off for you guys. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna make this a lifelong bet that it does, and it did. Look at that. So go to hell, Dad. I love you. Thank you for supporting me. Yeah,
He's just telling everybody. He's just lighting his family up right
that's
now,
right,
just dunking on everybody.
Dad. Didn't trust me, didn't believe in me. Brother, so the only thing I ever loved. My mother, we'll get to that.
All right, now, oh, man, this is a family affair. All right, so then after you said the 64, so you hop over to the Xbox,
That's right.
and I'm guessing you got down on Halo, right?
Oh, yep.
All right, so hit me with some other games that you played because everybody's played Halo.
Oh, man. Ever heard of a game called Brute Force? Because I know
Yes.
I did. I love that game. I swear to God, I did. Mass Effect 1 as I'm fighting off this sneeze. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Oh, God, it's going to be gross. I'm so sorry. One sec. Let me mute my mic. No, wait. Fighting. Nope.
Fantastic.
Sorry. Yeah, the essence of my mother is like, are you about to talk shit of me? No, you're not. I'm going to stop this right now. But yeah, Brute Force, Mass Effect, shit, Battlefront, Splinter Cell, Oblivion, no, sorry, not Oblivion, Morrowind, the classics. But like for me, the Xbox was for the most part the Halo machine. Oh, Mech Assault as well. Like it was the Halo machine.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that is like we were playing so much Halo that again, my dad said it was going to be the last time. He bought another Xbox for me just so that he didn't have to hear us fight. And it wasn't like a thing like, Dad, I think we need to invest in another Xbox. Just one day he's like, here it is. Just leave me alone. And we're like, what is this? This is your Xbox, Joe? And I'm like, this is the one with the S controller? And she's like, I don't know what the fuck that is. Just take this. Leave me be. And having LAN parties there. Oh, the original the Counter-Strike on Xbox? Chef's kiss. What a game. What a goddamn game. What a gem. I still have that one
Oh
lying
wow.
around. Yeah.
So you haven't like sold anything in hot mint, then I'm guessing, right? I mean, other than
Some
like
of
the
them.
newer consoles.
Yeah. Yeah, some of them. Like the original, there's some original Xbox stuff, but I don't touch. But yeah, for the most part.
Got it.
The OGs stay.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So now Xbox played enough of that. Is this the time that you start to hop into PlayStation?
I dabble.
Okay.
I dabble. Ratchet and Clank will always remain the GOAT. So I played a lot of Ratchet and Clank. I played a lot of Jack and Daxter. I did not play Sly Cooper. Did not really jive with it. A ton and a disgusting amount of Time Splitters. Call of Duty, actually, the first console experience on my PlayStation 2. A lot of shovelware on PlayStation 2. Grand Theft Auto, of course, Vice City.
Oh
I
yeah.
remember, dude, real talk. It's San Andreas. I remember at Blockbuster trying to convince my mother that I was getting this game, but it was for my brother. And like
Oh
the guy at the
wow.
counter is being a real dick about it. He's like, "No, it's for you. You know, no." And I only played it for like 5 minutes, like at like 12 o'clock at night, because I was afraid my mother would catch me playing Grand Theft Auto.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
wanted to play that? I mean, I get it. I mean, I was there at that
I
time, so I
tried.
get it. But wow, you
Yeah.
tricked your mom into renting it for your brother while you was your brother even there?
No, he did. He wasn't even there. So, so I Wolf of Wall Streeted it, dude. You know, really, I did it. No matter what the case is. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but
I
I
did
ain't gonna
that.
lie. I mean, we were. I mean, at that time, because I was young too.
Yeah.
at that time we were like flexing our parents to be able to play these games, like figuring out anything to do, whether it was going to a
Right,
friend's house because they're renting it, so we play all night over there. Or
because goddamn Tom Brokaw on the goddamn evening news has the audacity of like, and this is what these kids are playing nowadays. They're playing these violent video games. It's like, shut up, dude. Just shut your goddamn mouth. You're ruining this for me. All right? God damn it. But yeah.
oh man, fantastic.
But
So
when I say a lot of Ratchet and Clank, I mean it was too much Ratchet and Clank.
okay,
I will have to say that.
so I'm kind of wondering, like, how many times did you beat this game?
Oh, I mean, like, Up Your Arsenal is the best Ratchet and Clank game right before Rift Apart. Like, it is chef's kiss. I played the shit out of those games. Now, the one thing that I leave people shocked is I never played the original God of War games.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Because, like, people forget, like, I'm, like, still, like, 12 or some shit. I don't know, like, so my mother's in this big, like, religious phase, and so she sees God and of War, and she's immediately not great. She's not on good terms with the naming convention, but you could still convince her. And then goddamn Tom Brokaw on the evening news, there's a sexy mini game featuring God of War, and my mom's like, "You're never playing this."
Oh my God, he's killing you.
Dude, he's a real son of a bitch. And like Jack 3 was like the Grand Theft Auto game that I could play, so might as well. Like that's the closest thing I was going to get. Shout out to SOCOM, the series. Of course. The goats, man, that was so good. My memory of SOCOM's actually on the PSP, playing that online on PSP.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I remember being so enamored by like Star Wars Battlefront. I'm pretty sure we had it on both. Like, for some reason, I think we heard like something's different on the PSC than the Xbox version. So it was a lot of dumb stupidity on our part. But yeah, I here's the thing. I enjoyed my PS2. That is like not to say oh yeah, Max Payne, Jesus Christ. But like my brother played. He was allowed to play it. I was not. But I saw it and I loved it. Like, I don't know, were you the youngest child?
Yeah. Yeah, I dang near was the only, because my brother's 13 years older than me.
Okay. So for me, a lot of it was like, well, I have to sit and watch you, so let's do this. But like those times are also still so great because like it's awesome bonding moments that you get to have with them. But yeah, that's why I really can't wait for Max Payne to come to PlayStation 5 because I'm gonna play the shit out of that. But yeah, like how can I forget? Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Loved them. Now can't stand that series. Let's just put it to rest. Needs to enough. But yeah, that was
so you're not feeling the new.
No, man, that's not Sora. Where's the I don't. I got a lot of issues.
I got a lot
of thoughts. But yeah, like I played a lot of PS2, right? But it really was like the console was the Xbox for me, strictly because of Halo.
Yeah. And man, Halo was just transcendent there. It was just really just taking people's time and really, I mean, I feel like of right now, one of the most, if not the most underrated console of all time is probably the original Xbox, to me, personally.
Oh yeah.
To me, I know the PlayStation 2 sold more, and it was a fantastic system. Owned it, but I owned the PlayStation first and transitioned to the Xbox just because of all the features and not needing a memory card and listening to music and and those sports games back then, like they were just insane.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's at this point where Nintendo does lose me, and I'm no longer a Nintendo kid. Like we had a GameCube, but like we played like Luigi's Mansion and Smash. That's it.
Okay.
So this is like I'm a grown up now. I don't need Nintendo games type of attitude.
Well, yeah, I get it. I mean, unless you're playing a lot on the go, and I feel like Nintendo kind of found their niche with that and not having to provide all this like crazy expensive hardware to everybody right now. They're just kind of riding that wave until until it gets old, and right now it doesn't look like it's getting old anytime soon. It's constantly tearing up these new consoles. I mean, yeah, there's a shortage, sure, and I'm sure it would be these consoles would be selling better if there wasn't such a shortage.
Yeah.
But the Nintendo Switch right now, like, dude, that's like a generation behind, and it's still crushing it like crazy. Like, it came out like a what was it, just a couple years after the Xbox One and PS4 came out.
Yep.
It was later for sure, but this is a long span to still be selling out and stuff like that. And
Dude,
and I'm
it
sure
will
it
be
helped.
real talk. It will be the highest selling console of all time. I have no doubt in my mind.
Yeah,
Like, I think it will outpace the PS2. I
wouldn't
think
be
whatever.
surprised, man.
I think whatever the next, the Switch is, it's just going to be called the Switch Pro or something stupid. They're going to keep that SKU alive forever, in perpetuity, even.
Remember when it was going through its it was just like a year and a half ago or maybe 2 years ago. It went through the whole like stick drift thing where they or like some like licensing thing. I don't remember exactly what it was, but they had to stop selling them or they had to stop shipping them over to United States or whatnot, and they got super duper scarce and hard to get, and like you started seeing people trying to scalp them for way more than what they usually cost. And then they started production back with those again, and they've been just nonstop topping the charts. If not, it might miss like a month or it might miss a couple weeks or something like that. But for the most part, it's stepping on necks.
Yeah,
Pretty
it really
insane.
is. It really is.
So have we moved to the PlayStation on number 3, or
We're
now
getting
did you
close.
jump to
We're
the
getting close.
360?
We're getting close. So 360 is it is one of my favorite consoles of all time, but it is also the console that I then now moved to the PlayStation 3 fully. So, Xbox, I always tell this story. It's the best story that I have. Middle school, like 7th grade, we missed out on Christmas because my mother could not secure an Xbox 360, but she's like, when I can, I'm going to make this up to you. So she was out of Best Buy early January. She got me an Xbox 360. She got me Call of Duty 2. She got me a couple other games, but it was really Call of Duty 2 that I remember. And she called me out of school. And I thought, she didn't tell me why. They're just like, I'm just like at gym.
One of these epic moments. Here we go.
Yeah. So they're just like, Joe, report to the office. I'm like, why? And I thought like my grandma died. Wrong grandparent I should have been worried about. It was my grandpa that go first. But nonetheless, I go like, is grandma okay? My mom's like, what? No, let me take you outside. And I'm like, and she takes me outside. I'm like, Mom, is grandma okay? She's like, yes. You know the Xbox you want? I'm like, yes, but like grandma. It's like, I got you the Xbox. And I go, are you taking me out of school for this? And she's like, am I doing the wrong thing? I'm like, if it was me now, I'm like, yeah, probably, but let's not stop this.
Right?
And so literally she got,
you even said this much.
I know. So I literally spent the rest of my day playing Call of Duty, eating a Subway meatball sandwich and being in heaven, because Call of Duty 2 is the GOAT. So
you remembered what he was eating.
yeah, man. Like, it was a whole moment. That was a whole day. Because I remember she's like, we're getting Subway. And this was like when Subway was good. And I'm like, oh, and Subway? I'm like, this day can't get any better.
Yeah, Jared was the new guy on the block back then.
Exactly. We didn't know anything about Jared. Anything about Jared. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So that happened. That was awesome. And I used to be, this is when I was like peak Xbox fanboy too. I'm like, PlayStation's dumb. PlayStation's stupid. It's fat and it's dumb. Why would anybody buy this thing? It's a piece of garbage. My cousin
and it was
worked
expensive.
and it was too expensive. So like, you know, the fanboy shit that we hear constantly today, it hasn't changed. I was saying that same shit when I was 14 years old. 30-year-olds listening. So
Right.
it was real losers. They're really bad. Anyway, so my cousin, she worked at a Sony Style, which is like the equivalent of an Apple store back in the day. She could have got me these games at price. She could have got me like a PS3 for cheap. But my dumb ass was like, no, fuck better because it's got a wireless thing in it. You know, like that stupid shit. But then I started working at GameStop, and this is 2010. So now the moment has come. The moment has arrived. Some guy's trying to sell his PlayStation for weed. All right, it's legal here in Jersey now. We don't need to bleep it out. And he didn't bring the wire. He didn't bring a PlayStation controller, but he still was expected to sell this thing. We're like, we can't buy this yet. You don't have anything. And I go, all right, my man, I'll buy it off you. $80. And he's like, $80? I'm like, yes. Now, that was where GameStop had the right at the time to fire my ass, because you're not supposed to do that, of course. But here I am, you know. So I buy it off of him, and I go to my buddy. I go, it was actually 2011 rather. I go, okay, now that I have this PlayStation and I need to clean it, what game am I playing? And I'm like, and it's GameStop, so you can take out any used game.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, full stop Uncharted 2. I'm like, I go, not even like we're skipping one. He's like, one's okay. You want to do 2? I'm like, okay. I pressed, play, did all what I needed to do. First 5 minutes, I was just like, oh, what have I been doing this whole time? This thing's fucking excellent, man. Like Uncharted 2 was the thing that broke me. I was like, this game is fantastic. That train sequence, like, you never saw that in a video game before. You never saw that in a game before. And so that was a thing that broke my brain and broke the fanboy stupidity out of me. Was like, oh no, there's greatness here. And I need to play all the things. So like, there was my first PlayStation account. There are so many games that I have played I've never beaten, but I've just like, here's my 3-day rental from GameStop that I was constantly bringing in and taking out games. And it was at this point too where my Xbox, I'm on my 7th red ring. So I got the Slim. God. I got the cool Slim with the touch button. The graphics card went, and I remember I was actually super depressed. I trading it in for the last time. I was just like, this is it. I'm done with Xbox until they know how to make a great console again. Apparently they're still struggling because every Xbox I own, I have a goddamn problem with it. Nonetheless, yeah, I became then solely a PlayStation player at that point. But I was also like, oh, I'm gonna play on PC now too. So like, PC's gonna be where I play most of my games, and PlayStation's gonna be where I play the exclusives. That was a lie.
Yeah,
that I told myself.
You ended up just being a console guy.
PCs, there is too many drivers and dumb shit in the way.
Yeah, I had 2 games in a row not work for me properly yesterday. Scarlet Nexus I tried to download from Xbox Game Pass, but see, I bought the early edition of it and it wouldn't let me load up my games because I had add-ons from the Xbox version. And then I tried to download Dishonored and play that, and it just froze at like it didn't freeze, like it was playing, but like it wouldn't give me a menu, so I could not start a game. So there is definitely but like if I turn it on my Xbox, hit download, and it's playing just fine. But with this PC stuff, man, it's just like you gotta know all these workarounds, and I don't got time for that, dude. I just want to play the game.
Yeah, seriously. And so like, that is where it's like at that point. So like, like GTA 5, like that was it. Like that was, BioShock. That was it. Like that was all like Last of Us. All that and Last of Us really cemented it, man. I was just like, yeah, I can't. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting this from Xbox. Like something in my brain then switched. I'm like, I love Gears. I love Halo, but like not as much as what story they're telling me here. I remember, dude, I got a call from my friend Ruben. He's just like, did you beat the end of The Last of Us, man? It was like stoic as shit. I was like, no, why? He's like, dude, that game made me fucking cry. I'm like, a game made you cry? And I remember getting to the end. I was getting watery eyed. I was like, oh shit, yeah, this is. I have not had a game like this, and that was where it cemented me. So the one final act that did Xbox in for me was the Xbox One. It's bad. It's a bad console at launch. Awful.
I actually liked the launch. It was
really?
They did. It's what they did. Like I didn't like the launch show. Let's get that scrubbed out of there. I'm talking about like the launch titles. Like I like the launch titles of the Xbox One, like Rise, Son of Rome.
Yeah.
And there. Oh man, I can't think of some other ones off the top of my head. Because I remember the first 2 games I got was Rise, Son of Rome, and I think it was Call of Duty Ghosts. Was the first 2 ones I got, and there was a few other ones, but I can't remember. I have to go into the library and look. But I actually liked the launch of it. It was what they did after the launch that was like frustrating, because it was like we got some games, and then it just kind of ended up just going third party, and then you didn't really see a whole lot of first party stuff other than, I mean, you ended up getting Quantum Break and whatnot later on, but I mean, it took a long time to really get any big time, first party titles on there. So, I mean, I was mostly stuck playing third party pretty much the entire console cycle, and I was a stickler. I straight up, I mean, like, I loved my 360. It didn't red ring until a week before I traded it in to get an Xbox One. So I literally survived.
Wow.
Yeah, it was insane. But yeah, I didn't purchase a PS3, and I ended up skipping the PS4, and now my backlog is insane because I got a PS3, and I mean the PS5 is pretty much PS4 as well. So
yeah.
So I got a lot of catching up to do, but yeah, but yeah, there is some great stuff that I missed out on, and I was one of those Xbox guys as well. Like screw PlayStation, I'm not getting any of that stuff and whatnot.
And real talk, like I'm seeing it in the news right now, like, Xbox is outselling PlayStation, and I'm not like, well, there's I'll tell you why. It's like, no, they're doing great. Cheer them on. Them doing great is going to push PlayStation to do crazy things.
You already see it happening, man.
Exactly. You're starting to see it. Like, things are changing behind. They made a preservation team.
Yep.
Solely to make the PlayStation 3 happen natively. Like, that's literally their job. They're like, each game is going to be a Rubik's Cube we need to solve because this console was garbage.
Well, see, everybody was challenging PlayStation's greatness that they put out there. They're like, hold on. You can't put PS3 games on here?
Yeah.
I got to stream them? That doesn't sound too great to me. And now they're kind of, taking a step back and being like, oh, well, we actually should care about this because we have a long history.
Yeah. And real talk,
history.
you can, like, I'm not too whatever about the service in terms of like the premium service is a ripoff. The $15 one I have no qualms with, but like having PS1, PS2, and PS3 games, having those libraries brought over is a huge deal. That I think is being underplayed, because I think there's a thirst for people to go back to those catalogs. And if you put trophy support in these games, dude, man. I'm so in. So, there's a ton of things they need to work out, but like, you're seeing it behind the scenes. Xbox's success is making them do different things and think differently as well. So like, Do I think every one of these multiplayer initiatives are going to work out? No, I don't think a lot of them are, but I know they're banking on one of them to be really successful, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what is going to, you know, be what their driving force is. So I feel like we often get stuck on the day-to-day semantics of consoles, because there's such a long-term story to be told, with them. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Well, I'm reading the chat and
Hmm.
what Matt Likes Games just posted. He said $15 service um, might be where it's at for me.
Yeah,
And I'm kind of wondering that myself because I have a PS3, and I mean I don't unless the category is that deep and like I just cannot find these games for the life of me, which I just don't believe. The games are there. It's just some of the prices for these games now are just like extremely offensive.
yeah, and I think that a lot of people lose sight on that. So like, I can't put my classic PS3 get this in here. I'm like, I no, like that thing is big. I like PS3 again is a blunder of a console. But like, no, I think the streaming portion's where it's at. Like that actually excites me. Like I was never going to put a PS2 disc in my PlayStation 5. Like real talk, guys. So it's no. I'm gonna be streaming that. I'm gonna be, you know, downloading it, whatever the case may be, onto my PlayStation 5.
See, I want to play it native. Like I'm one of those guys that are
Yeah.
like if I can't download it, like the only time I should be streaming on my console is if I'm trying out something I'm not sure if I want to download or not. Or else
Hmm.
like I'm this $500 console. I don't want to stream off of it to actually play through a game. That sound it doesn't sound very yummy at all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't want to stream them either. I mean, sorry, I don't want to stream most games either. But after playing on my Steam Deck, which I've been just streaming the shit out of all the things, it's not the worst thing in the world to me. I'm like,
Well,
yeah,
that's
all right, cool.
different. A Steam Deck to me is a little different because it's portable.
Oh,
Yes,
sure.
I mean that thing is expensive. I mean the higher tier one is more expensive than the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox, right? So but like that thing is very mobile, and to be able
Yeah,
to stream on that thing is very handy, especially if you're in a place where it's going to take literally like 3-4 hours to download a game, but you can stream it right now. Like it's an obvious answer for sure.
fair
But
enough.
we're getting off topic. Let's get back on the road real quick. I want to know really fast from you, or actually, however, whatever speed you want to go. I want to know for sure from you, like when you hopped on to that PS4,
Hmm.
what was like the game that blew your mind?
Well, that's a good question. Oh, that's a really good question. Hmm.
And I'm gonna make it even harder. You can't say God of War or The Last of Us 2.
No, 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 those wouldn't be there. I mean,
Okay,
God of
cool.
War. Hmm. Let's see. Because the first game I played was Battlefield 4. I go,
Okay.
ooh, this game looks pretty. Then the second game was Killzone, and I was like, I'm not gonna beat this game. Um, and then I played a game called The Order 1886, and I was like, this is actually a good game, and people are giving it a shit. I get it's short, but it's good. I'd like a sequel. Um, but then I played it. I played a game of the generation that has lasted the test of time. It is when people go, Joe, what is your favorite game of all time? It's a toss up between three, but it's Bloodborne. Bloodborne is it.
Bloodborne's it.
Bloodborne. Bloodborne's a goat, man. It's been 7 years since the original. Let's get another one in there. Let me get a remake. Let me get a remaster. I don't care. I'll pay the $10. I don't care. I really don't. Oh no, they're gonna make me pay for the frame rate. They will. I'm a sucker. They got me. They know. I'm not proud of it. Oh man, that game is seriously, uh, that's the goat. Like that is the true goat. That is. I remember trying to go to The Witcher 3 after playing Bloodborne. Holy shit, there's been a pattern. So like everybody's like, this game's great, and then I played Bloodborne. I was like, this game's combat is ass, and I didn't touch The Witcher 3. I still need to beat The Witcher 3, let alone touch
You,
it.
you might as well wait until they do the patch for it at this
That's what
point.
I'm.
That's what I'm waiting for because my dumb ass bought it on Switch. And
Oof,
then it came into Game Pass a week later.
oof.
So it was oof after oof, and then and now they're saying they're doing the patch, so third oof, and now I'm like, oh, I guess I'm buying it again because I don't want to play it on the Switch. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that to myself at all. So I'm gonna wait and play it like that.
Yeah. It's so for me, that's Bloodborne, and then everything else just the thing about the PlayStation 4 generation where I talk about it really highly. It is the to me it is the best generation. Like I don't even think uh PlayStation 4 is to me the best console. I think then it comes 360, then it comes Super Nintendo. Because after that it seemed like every other PlayStation exclusive was hidden. And games like Horizon were so good that you forgot that dreams existed, right? Games like Bloodborne were so good that you forgot that like the first year of the PlayStation was extremely dry. um so to me you
They
just
really
had.
crushed it towards the end, like they, if you were to think of it as a console war kind of thing, they really put their knee into Xbox's neck
Yeah,
towards the end of that generation, and they crushed it with The Last of Us 2, and it was just like, oh no.
yeah. And when so like when people are like get like when people get too console warish, like this could be the last PS3 or PlayStation, you're gonna see it. They're gonna be a first party or third party. I'm like, you're dumb. No, every first off, PlayStation 5 is doing great, Xbox is doing great, Switch is doing great, right? But
Hmm.
every generation, it seems like the one prior gets humbled. Um, Xbox got so humbled, and honestly, even more than that, they got crushed. If there was someone else, that company would have been sold. Um, but I remember the rumors of them being sold off to Toshiba. Like
Oof.
it wasn't. I remember it was not looking great. They got so humbled that I remember when Phil Spencer's like, you knew the type of leader he was going to be because he was just like, yeah, I play on PlayStation 4. It's a great console. And they're like, wait, what? They're like, yeah, it's great. All of them's great. It's like, well, I don't understand. Um, and honestly, Game Pass, that was a thing of necessity. They needed to change the narrative. What they needed to find was a way to make money because they knew there was no way that they were going to beat PlayStation. So at the traditional game. So why not just make a new avenue? And that's what Game Pass has really solved for them. And
Hmm.
it's doing great for them. Like when people are like, yeah, but how long is it going to last? No doubt it's going to raise its price one day. And yes, no doubt it will not be as good as it is right now. No doubt. Like that's take a look at Netflix. It's bound to happen. But I don't necessarily look at that future going, well, that's why I can't invest in it now. It's like, no, they're
If they
doing
can
great right
get
now.
people to invest in their system and start buying games from them, like just like you see all these like constant chart tops
Yeah.
for PlayStation and Switch games, like Xbox. I mean, you're starting to see people starting to buy games on Xbox. I mean, you've seen it with just recently Star Wars, Lego Star Wars Skywalker, like
Yeah.
like like people are starting to notice and starting to buy some games for Xbox now.
Ex-
But like there was definitely a time where and it's still kind of that time now where Xbox is, Game Pass is a great way to get people to come on over. And then once they come on over, it's like, we're going to, because look at the quality of games that they're talking about coming out with. They're going to raise that price at some point
sure.
because those games are crazy big.
But guess what? That's
It's
for
down there.
future Joe to deal with.
Right.
So like as of right now, this service is great. So I'm not worried about the 2, 3, 4 year future, 5, 6, 10 year future, whatever. I they have made a portion of this medium for themselves. They've carved it out, and that's impressive. So like, to me, when people are like, it's the last Xbox, so you're gonna, it's like, no, like, look at Nintendo, man. Look at the Wii U. The Wii U was a colossal and utter and complete failure.
Mm.
And Nintendo was able to turn it around and make a console that is going to, I believe it, one day outpace the PS2. Like, people, and not because it's a DVD player, because it's a game machine. So like, we often get in these camps of like, all right, which box is better? It's like, all of them are great, and all of them are doing great because all of them have been humbled before.
Mm.
So yeah, there are going to be a time that PlayStation doesn't make the AAA bangers. God damn it, I said the word. Awesome, Dave, I hate you. But like, that they once did. They will be humbled, and then they will uh, turn it around. None of these companies are going out of business. None of them. So get that out of there. And as long as there's something to be sold under a TV, there's going to be something to be sold under a TV or connected to your TV. So like, to me, we ought to get lost in to be frank, the bullshit of what like YouTube personalities want us to believe, where it's really, there's great games to be played everywhere. Like, real talk, you saw my history. I play everything.
Mm.
And I showed you all the controllers. I'm not a fanboy of either one. When I made the trophy room, it was, I need to find someone that loves PlayStation more than anyone that isn't a toxic piece of shit. And that's why I chose Kyle. Because Kyle is like, his first Xbox was a Xbox One. He
Wow.
bought an Xbox Series X for death's door, and I go, Kyle, that's a dumb decision. He's like, let me do this dumb decision. He doesn't like Halo. He's not an Xbox guy by any means, but he just loves games.
He just
So like,
respects it. He respects that, at least the hustle. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. He and he understands that it's simply, they're offering something that I'm not into, but it doesn't mean I have to be against. And that's what I feel like is lost on so many people, whether it's on a Twitter space or on a YouTube show. We get lost of. It's just none of this. At the end of the day, we have to separate ourselves from the news of the day, from the news we want to hear, to the news we think you want to hear. We got to do a better job as creators in making that space, because there's a lot of creators out there, not to name names, but like, I definitely know you're doing it just for attention, or like, oh, you're doing that for growth, and you don't really believe an ounce of what you say, but you're doing it for clicks.
Right.
And that's what we at the trophy room try to do, kind of the opposite of. We try to balance the clickbait bullshit with like just honest discussion, and we find it refreshing as all hell. But that's
that.
a rant.
I feel that though.
Yeah.
I mean that's pretty cool that you found somebody that you can at least engage with and not have it be toxic for clicks or whatnot.
Yeah, we want to be a podcast for everybody that just so happens to talk about PlayStation.
Yeah, and the closest thing to toxic kind of things that I will find myself doing every now and then is just like playing around with the word, greatness sometimes, because some people, like, they'll make you feel like crap for owning one console or
Right.
the other, and sometimes I'll play with that, or I'll play with like, Xbox having no games and stuff like that. Like I'll play with it back and forth with either one, but it's like, dude, I am more than happy to show you that I play everything, and I've always played everything, and I was kind of fanboying for Xbox for a little bit between the 360 and the one. Like I said, I missed the 3 and the 4, but by age 25, I was like, I'm done with this. Like, I'm missing out. I'm clearly missing out. Like, look at like I mean, down the line, God of War 2018 ended up coming out, and I'm like all the bros are playing it, and then I ended up making some really good friends that had that had PS4s, and I'm sitting here like being a salesman for Xbox, and I'm feeling kind of stupid because they're like, "What are you gonna play on there?" And I was like, Ark Survival Evolved, and they're like, I ain't trying to play that, you know. So I ended up being like, man, like at some point I figured out like, man, I feel like I'm missing out. Like FOMO started to really kick in towards the end of that generation because, like I said, PlayStation was just knocking it out of the park, and I felt like I was just missing everything.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing about Xbox got killed off, I think, in like 2017, which I absolutely loved the Snap feature that was on that. You say Xbox Snap, and you could pull up Xbox Snap YouTube, and they'd pull up that little side screen, and you could watch YouTube while I'm playing like Madden or you know, a basketball game or Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse or something like that. Like it was really innovative, but after a while, yeah, it sucked seeing some of my friends getting down on PlayStation. I'm like, man, I wish I had that kind of game. But I don't.
Yeah, I was trying to look at one of these tweets of like, because you got like the PlayStation insiders, which I love. They've been memed, but it's like Sony's been quiet. Wonder what's happening tomorrow. It's like, shut up, shut up. Go to sleep, MBG. Go to sleep.
I've noticed like, and it goes for either side, and sometimes I find myself doing the kind of same thing too. It's like, oh, I wonder what I'm gonna hear this week, and then there'll be nothing, and then I'll be like, thinking in my head like, damn it, Xbox, we're still dry.
It's so dry. Yeah, that's the other thing. Jesus.
Oh man. But I'm really excited for what they got. I feel like they have some sort of confidence with them in what they kind of got, and you know, I feel like they're being really quiet with this whole acquisition kind of thing going on. But man, a showcase couldn't happen soon enough. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Give us something. What's
So,
Xbox is in June or whatever, right?
I'm hoping so. You know, I'm not gonna until I see it spread all over the place and everybody's jumping for joy and stuff like that. I'm not getting excited for nothing. Like, I'm not gonna use my energy in that. And plus, my backlog right now, like I said, I missed out on the PS3 and PS4, so I'm playing some of that stuff. And then, I mean, I don't even want to get into the backlog that I have on Xbox because of all of the deals and, you know, Microsoft Store letting me, or not Microsoft Points Store, but the Microsoft Points that I'm able to like I just got the Arkham collection for $8, $8.99. So I have that whole collection now that I have to go through. I got a bunch of Uncharted games I got to play now. I beat Last of Us 1 and 2, and those were fantastic games. Like I've never been told a story like that in a game where I was like so angry at people that I ended up liking at the end. Like, it's weird.
It's great. Yeah, I love when people are like, yeah, I hated Last of Us 2, but I loved Abby. And it's sad that Abby was the person I connected with the most. I'm like, did you just hear yourself? Did you that's good writing.
Yeah.
It angers me because yeah, like people get mad at Last of Us part. Well, I think there's a miscalculation and a risk that Naughty Dog took with one of the directions of that game, and
yeah, both are protagonists, both are antagonists, and you end up the take that I had at the end was I was just like, yo, like, I need like I hate both of you guys and I love both of you guys. You guys are just idiots. Like that was like the end of the day feeling for me. I was just like, look at what you guys both got. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing out of it.
Yeah, it was great. The game was literally the song that they showed off the game with. Like, it's nuts. It's nuts. But I love that game. Love those games.
All right, so all in all, why is gaming so important to you at the end of the day?
It's the best medium. Like, I love a good show. Moon Knight, let's go. Let's go. Next episode, it's gonna be tight. Halo show is something I don't want to talk about, but like I love shows. I love a good cinema. But to me, gaming is it's the way I choose to entertain myself, man. Like to me, there's something about being in the story rather than watching the story on screen. You're taking part in it. I think is a special experience. Yeah, it's not just even interacting with the world that really makes you feel like you belong in it. I always I always I always think about WoW, actually World of Warcraft, which I was addicted to, of being this world where I just got lost in. I was like a gnome. I was like a little goblin fella, running around in this forest, and I'm manipulating things and having my own story within this world, but having it feel like it was mine, just on the little ventures that I would go through. That's what gaming does that I don't think any other medium gets. You're doing it all. You're listening, you're watching, you're reading, and then you're proactive. You're doing. And there's just so many ways to tell a story when you have to not think about where the framing is in the scene, but how a character is going to interact with something and how that's going to impact not just the story, but them going forward and trying to find that fun every 30 seconds. That is the thing that is constantly, it constantly blows my brain that gaming is able to achieve.
Yeah, it's incredible. And just the history that you get if you like if you started with it from as young as I was when I was like 5, 6 years old, like, and then you think about like your history. I mean, I know that now we have all these gamer scores and stuff like that, but like, really, I don't need that to remember how I feel about my games, or like, yeah, it's cool to get to have that as history now, because it's like something that you can show off and bring to the next generation as it goes now. But back in the day, like, I remember writing down passwords for video games just so I can continue from where I left off, hoping there was a battery in the game so I could, save and turn it off, kind of like, like WrestleMania 2000 and like Mario Kart 64, and some but few. Yes. Well, no, not really. Like the Genesis was really short on having batteries in their games at all. They mostly went based off of password systems and stuff like that to get back into their games. But like Road Rash 2 was a big one for me that I played a ton of. Man, shout out to the Road Rash games though, man. Those were like EA, man. Like, let's stop trying to like if you're gonna throw in like a cool microtransaction game, I think Road Rash would be a cool game to do.
Let's go.
Like if you want them, they love doing it, so I might as well throw it out there. If you're gonna if you're gonna charge everybody nickel and dime, people might as well like bring back some of these old games that we like Road Rash was a smasher. Skitchin was pretty cool back for the Genesis days. I just got done playing this crazy like FMV game called Midnight Raiders for the Sega CD.
I think I remember it. I think I remember my friend talking about that.
So that game is ridiculous because you like shoot like a tank or something like that, and like any shot you take and you hit the target, it goes into a cutscene, and it shows like the target blowing up, and like something about like Sega CD and like Saturn, like, oh yeah, and Midnight Raiders, I think, yeah. No, I'm right. That was Sega CD. So, so like something about those old times where like people make fun of Sony now for all these like movie type games.
Yeah.
But it's been around for a long time. You think about Panasonic 3DO and freaking, like I said, Sega CD and Saturn, and I mean they literally would cast like movie stars to be in their video games. Like, it was. And they tried to make it look exactly like the movie.
Yeah.
where it was like you're playing the cheesy game, but then they'd always have these cutscenes, like every like it felt like a couple minutes, just to make you feel like you are actually in the movie or something like that. It's a pretty cool take, but I don't think it ended up being as well. It definitely didn't end up being as good as the way that Sony portrays their movies and whatnot now. And the PlayStation 1 just really stepped on the Saturn really bad.
Yeah.
The original PlayStation, that was rough. Ah, man, I feel bad for that. And yeah, shout out to the Dreamcast because I love that as well.
I feel like a lot of Xbox fans that went from Sega to Xbox have a lot of resentment for PlayStation, and I get it. To an extent, I get it. But you have to understand that it's not PlayStation's fault. Like, to me, I'm like, it's Sega's.
Yeah,
remember,
it's
like, they
Sega's
went
for
from
bad
Sega
management.
to Saturn, then to Dream. Like, they didn't know which way was fucking up this company when it came to making a console whatsoever. That, like, PlayStation could have done half as well as it did, and I think they would have gone under, because, man, they made so many wacky, stupid attachments to make the Genesis live longer than the Saturn that was so short lived, and then they're like, we got to do something. Dreamcast.
Yeah, it's totally one like one like conglomerate part, like the US and just Japan just not figuring it out.
Yeah.
And not being on the same page at all, to the point where you just launched a 32X. You just launched it. I think that game ended up having like 40 some games total for that console. And then they come out with the Saturn, and then it's like, oh, why are we losing money? And it's like, dude, because every 2 years you have a brand new console, and it has to be driving these developers up the freaking wall.
Has to be, dude. It has to be. Yeah.
But now I want to know, why did you so what made you get into content creation?
Good question. I've been told that I should have done it earlier, and I really feel like I should have.
It's easy for everybody to say, though, right?
Yeah, really easy to say. Well, no. So the reason why I first got into it was we discovered podcasts because of the Nerdist, and my brother and I thought we could do one, and that went so swimmingly. And while that fad was dying out for him, YouTube, I was like, well, why not just make, I got all this equipment here, why not just make bad YouTube videos? And that's what I decided to do. Like, literally, I would be playing Destiny with my Razer headsets and recording what I was playing, and while like trying to talk about like the news of the day while playing it, and that's fucking distracting. My first videos, which are still up on the channel, are god awful, and I don't recommend anybody watch them. But it's history, and it needs to be there. That being said, though, it really was, my grandpa was passing away, and I needed an escape. And so I found that content creation was a great escape from dealing with the mortality of the day, really, to just plugging in at night and kind of forgetting all the bad shit that was happening. And that escapism turned into making really awesome friends. And during my YouTube career, I got very, not fanboyish, because I used to be like, this is a channel about all things games. But just kind of turned into me realizing, because ironically enough, like, I made a Philip Mewson video that really kicked off, and I could have been a very flamboyant, angry personality looking for the clickbait, which I see a lot of people do to great success. Good for them. But I did that one video, and I got a call from my friend Bobby, the Nintendo guru, who passed away, and he's just like, hey man, I saw that video. I was like, yeah, it did good. He's like, yeah, no, I was about that. I think it sucks. And I'm like, why? It did really good. He's just like, yeah, well, like, what happens if that guy kills himself? Because like, you trashed on him. Like, well, it's not me. It's not my fault. He's like, yeah, but like, you and hundreds of people are harassing this guy. You have to understand that. And that got me in a new direction. Like, I see a lot of people do the most dumb, stupid fucking takes on the fanboy wars.
Oh,
And
yes.
again, they don't really believe what they're saying is true. It's all a personality. They have gifts created out of them. It's fucking weird. And those people don't actually buy into the bullshit that they make. It's just entertaining, quote unquote.
Mm.
But like, there are people that are buying into it that are adding to a toxic culture,
Right.
and that is making it difficult for individuals to actually speak up and talk about games. So
Right.
while we're making some like explosive video, we really have to think about the developers making them. So after that video I made, I kind of took a little bit of a hiatus, and I just started seeing shit about Fallout 76, and it got to the point where people are fucking complaining about a nylon bag. And I'm like, this is not what I want to do. I want to talk about games and why I love them, not why Bethesda sucks at making bags. And I kind of just stopped because like, we're losing point, we're losing track.
Starting to not be about the video games right now, and just a kind of a, I don't know, like,
Cult.
yeah, kind of like just weird. Just no one's
It's
learning anything right now, kind of thing.
no devs don't want to talk to you because of the way we act. They're afraid to even just not even just talk about their life, just to speak to us like people, because you got the one people that are literally making like clip videos about beating up like games journalists and shit.
Oh,
And they're like, oh, it's just all a gag. It's like, really? This is fucking pathetic.
yeah, it's not funny at all.
It's not. So to me, it's just that broke me, and that's why I made the trophy room. So I made it with at the time my acquaintance Kyle, which would turn into one of my best friends, and we would just talk about PlayStation and not be like, why is Xbox? It's like fucking suck. None of that, because it's boring. Like, truthfully, I applaud that Xbox is selling well, but I don't care. I'm not getting any of the money. I'm just happy that players are enjoying their experiences with that box.
Yeah.
Just like how I hope people on PlayStation are enjoying their experiences with their box. That's the energy that we constantly try to keep on the show, and I think that's the thing that we strive for, but we achieve every single episode, because people in the thousands keep coming back to us, and that is something
That's special,
I
man.
don't take for granted. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was very long-winded. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You're totally good. Now I kind of want to relive one more past, or actually a couple more real quick. So the first one I want you to do is tell me which generation throughout your history of gaming that you would like to relive again.
Ooh, if I was to transport my conscious being into Child Joe, I would experience the Super Nintendo generation all over again, no doubt. It'd be really weird because I have like this vocabulary and I'm like 4, I'm saying shit like concurrently. And my mom's like, "Where'd you learn that word?" I'm like, "What up, Miriam?" And she's like, "What are you talking to me like this lingo?" And I'd say, well, because I'm a 30-year-old man in a 4-year-old's body. And she'd be like, we need to go to church.
Lord. So now I'm kind of curious, like, now does this attach to the most memorable moment that you've ever had in gaming or whatever? Like, I'm trying to think of like something, like it could be a time you had with a game, or let's say an event that you went to, or a time that you met somebody. Like, give me an example of something that you can think of that you're like, man, that really kind of transcended gaming for me.
All right, I'm gonna name drop, and I apologize. But when we had Greg Miller on the show, that was all out of luck and circumstance, and still don't even know if that if that episode was good. I was just like, holy shit, that happened. Kyle, it was so fast. I hope I included you in a lot. He's like, yeah, you did. You did good. I'm like, I hope so. I was really nervous. That was the moment because, kind of funny in the early years was a big inspiration to why I started to create. So seeing someone that played a pivotal role in not just creating content, but how you would create content, that's a big one for me. I have many memories of like playing Gears of War with my friends, playing Gears 3, getting high, going to 7-Eleven, smoke more weed, go to Sonic, and then going back home and playing Gears 3 with them. Totally blitzed out of my mind. That was great. Those were great high school times. But then also like being a dumbass adult playing games like Ghost of Tsushima, just getting fucking hyped and just getting lost in that world was just an experience, man. I loved it. And then even like playing, there's moments in Fortnite where I'm just like, Jesus Christ, this is happening in this game. Like incredible moments. So I got a lot of them. I've been very lucky in my years of gaming. That's for sure.
I would have never thought that you got into Fortnite.
Yeah, dude. I'm humble brag. I'm pretty big into it. I'm not. I can't build the fucking Taj Mahal, but I can shoot a decent shot. That's for sure.
Gotcha. That's interesting. I didn't know that. That's something I did not know.
I came to the realization. I'm pretty sure Fortnite is my favorite multiplayer game ever.
Wow, you said ever.
Yeah, because I've sunk the most time into it, like hundreds of thousands of hours, I think. So it has to be. It has to be. Definitely spent the most money in it. That's for sure. Fuck me.
So, yeah, you spending that money, bro. You spending it.
They give me a Moon Knight skin. I'm gonna buy it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right, so you obviously played a lot of games throughout the time, and I'm sure you know now what kind of genre that you're not really like when you see it, you're like maybe, but not a day one.
What is one of those games? Oh, here's well, pretty much anything Japanese developed. I'm pretty much out. Any JRPG?
No way. There's a PlayStation guy that doesn't like JRPGs.
Not a huge fan.
Unheard of. I thought everybody praised JRPGs. That if they owned a PlayStation, I thought they had to.
My first Final Fantasy, which I thought it was great, was Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like that I beat.
Okay.
So
I don't like Final Fantasy games at all.
Yeah, but like prior to that, I was like, I don't get the appeal.
Me neither. That was my issue. Like, because I started out knowing Final Fantasy as like turn-based.
Yes.
So like it lost my attraction from the start because I'm not a turn-based guy at all. So now all these people are like, yo, man, Final Fantasy, you can run around and beat up all these people. I'm just like, I can do that in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Or I can do that in another game where it's like somewhat linear but open. Like there's a lot of games like that now, so I wasn't ever massively impressed by Final Fantasy at all.
Yeah, same. So we're like JRPGs usually aren't my jam, so I usually stray away.
Yeah, okay.
But again, I'm opening my horizon to the anime weird shit.
You know, I am too, man. And I've been streaming Scarlet Nexus last like 3 or 4 times I've streamed a game, other than when I do this group stream with my boys on the Game Drain channel that I am also on. But yeah, JRPGs are getting a little bit more interesting. I think they're starting to be a little bit more flexible in some of them, where it's more geared towards the action and more stuff to do than dialogue. And that's how I feel when I played, at least especially with the Final Fantasy games. Like I just couldn't stand all the dialogue in that.
Yeah.
And the turn-based feel, like I just didn't vibe with it at all. Not my thing.
Same.
But moving forward, I'm kind of curious what the best 3 games you played last year were, and which one was the GOAT of the year?
All right, all right.
Let's get to
Here
reaching
he
now.
is.
Let's get
Here
to
it is.
reaching.
All right, so top 3 games I played last year. Not surprising to anyone. I'm gonna say Deathloop number 3.
Okay.
I think Deathloop's really good, but I think it also lacks replayability. After that story's done, depending on if you like the ending or not, there's really nothing. There's not a lot to do afterwards. Though I think it's a fantastic game, and I'm very close to the platinum. I should just go ahead and do that. Number 2 on the list is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah,
So
let's
fucking
go.
good.
That
This is
was
one
a
of the
good game.
so good. I'm happy that it's doing. Because yeah, like we all heard things that Guardians did not do as well as Square would hope. But
Yeah, but does anything do as good as
Fucking
Square would
no.
hope unless it's Final Fantasy?
no. But like with
Look at Outriders.
hopefully Guardians gets a sequel, because I think that is beloved, and I think it will do extremely well
Oh yeah.
if they give him a sequel. And you know, having interviewed some of the voice casts, they're great people, and you can tell Eidos loves that IP. So please make a Guardians too. I'm gonna be obnoxious about that now too. And then number 1. All right, here it is. Call me a PlayStation fanboy. Show's the worst. He's just a piece of shit. It has to be. It has to be Returnal, man. Returnal's the fucking GOAT. Talk about gameplay being king. Jesus Christ, man. That was my first Housemarque game. So you can now start taking away my PlayStation credentials. This guy doesn't play shit. Housemarque is phenomenal. And the story that they tell, man, being a roguelite at the same exact time, it's unlike anything. It gives me the Geiger-esque, Alien-esque backdrop with this just super interesting sci-fi story where I was literally midway through it. Midway through, like the game has a midway twist where it's like, oh, did I just beat this game? Are you serious? Whoa, what the fuck? You hit that moment, you're like, all right, I'm 110% in. Returnal, let's go. So Returnal is my GOAT for last year for sure.
Okay. All right. I know. I know. There was a lot of people that really like that. Rand also told me on the episode I had with him that he just freaking loved that game. That was like one of his games of the year, or the game of the year for him. So I mean, pretty cool to see a lot of people liking that. It's roguelikes aren't exactly my type of game, because I get like an hour in and then like I have to restart, and I'm like,
I love them. That was the game that made me love roguelites. So like Hades is also phenomenal, but the other thing with Hades is like you have to beat it like fucking like 15 times to get the true ending, and I think that's a little obnoxious.
That is really obnoxious. And like is it one of those things where you can save point and beat it, or is it like something where you have to do totally different routes to get that?
No, it plays really well into the narrative. So like they really do want you to die a lot, because then that's how the narrative is going to progress. But like you're clearing it every run, and something's changing every run. The thing that's obnoxious about Hades is some of the trophies are literally just based on RNG, and I fucking hate when they do that so much.
Fair enough.
But, yeah.
Fair enough. All right. So that was pretty interesting. Now I'm kind of wondering what your favorite studio is and what game best represents that studio that you like so much.
Let's give it to the GOAT. So actually, ironically enough, while everybody was yelling at Gene Park today, I was like, how about I just talk about what I think my favorite studios are. So I'm gonna go in reverse here. I know it's just one, but I'm gonna do a whole bunch. Epic. I love Epic. OG Gears, awesome. Again, Fortnite, masters of multiplayer. Naughty Dog, they're my favorite storytellers, man. They know how to grip me like nobody can. Insomniac are literally fucking wizards. How are they doing what they're doing? Like seriously, like y'all bought Activision Bethesda, and I'm telling you, Insomniac's cranking out the same input. They're fucking nuts over there.
They're good.
They're
They are
great.
wizards at what they do. And I mean, just look at the amount of games that they've already dropped for this generation. It's pretty
Yep.
cool. And like they already lined you up with something like they're like, and come back in like a year and a half, and we'll have something baking almost ready to be finished for you. That being Spider-Man 2, and then after that Wolverine. So I mean, it was really cool to see back-to-back games that they're working on at one show
Dude,
after they had just dropped some bangers.
Yeah, they don't know how to fucking quit. Again, they're wizards. I don't know, and like that's not the only games they're working on, guys. Again, like I love what last week they're like, oh, rumor has it Insomniac's working on a multiplayer Marvel game. I'm like, I've been saying that on the trophy room for a year, but thank you guys for finally tuning in, I guess. And then, but we got to give it to number one. Let's give it to the GOAT. Let's give it to From Software.
Oh, okay.
Bloodborne, Elden Ring, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. The GOATs. They're only outdone by themselves, and that's just crazy that that's the case.
And it's insane. Everybody that you know, they're starting to pump out. You know, once somebody comes out with something hot, and it can be in any industry, right? Everybody wants to copy. Everybody wants to try it out. Everybody wants to, be the next, From Software now. And you see indie, devs going into it. You see other developers trying to find their kind of into it. And it's interesting because what I like about, I'm not a big From Software fan. I mostly just like Elden Ring was super cool, and I like the idea of some of the other games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the thing that I really respect about From Software is they stay in their own lane and they don't try to copycat people.
No, they're just doing what they know what to do, like how to do. And like let's talk about it. Like what Call of Duty has done for first person shooters in terms of control, like literally controls, From Software has done that for the action game. There are not a lot of games that you can go, square triangle or XY with. It's now L1 R2 R1. Like that's how it works now, and it's just because of them. And if you dare put your dodge on a B or a circle button, you're going to hell. Like any other button but that one, you go to hell.
Yeah.
Because like nothing else makes sense, and that's all because From Software are fucking geniuses. Literally,
Yeah.
they're.
It's very much like Call of Duty, like you say. You shoot with this button, right? You, I guess Halo really helped pave that way too, though, with the twins, with looking with the right stick and moving with the left stick. They've had it on other games, sure, but like when you're first person, like Halo is like the first game that you think of when you think of a first person or Call of Duty. But those kind of went hand in hand with each other, especially with the, they just kind of went hand in hand with each other eventually, for sure. Yeah. Really cool how From Software stands out in its own regard. But we're getting down to the last couple of questions. I'm going to try to get this cut so you can get some rest, because I believe you're an hour ahead of me.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be 12 o'clock, and let me see. I got a meeting at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I'm gonna be wired for that one.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I have 1 sec.
All right, so
3 meetings. Fuck me. Continue.
I want you to tell me now, what game are you most excited for the end of this year, and then what's the game that you're most excited for beyond, and that can be as far as whatever.
I don't understand why people are so excited for Starfield. I've seen pictures, but then good friend Miles Dampierre posts this awesome picture this awesome concept art. And he said something brilliant. I'm just going to try to find it. He's like, this particular piece of Starfield concept art does a lot for me. Give me space oceans and strange space sea creatures. And you just see like this galactic cruise just shipwrecked on a beach. And I'm like, fuck, this is giving me Dune vibes. I think I'm all about this. So I'm excited for Starfield. I'm also, excuse me, sorry, incredibly hyped for God of War Ragnarok. That is to me the only game that could go and dethrone Elden Ring for me as game of the year. Because to me, personal preference, God of War is a perfect game. To me, there's little to nothing wrong other than like repeated enemy bosses. That's it. Like to me, other than that, like fuck, this game's near perfect. Wouldn't change it for the world. So yeah.
Okay. And then for Beyond.
Oh, Beyond, there has to be Suicide Squad, dude.
Wow, I didn't see that coming. I thought you were gonna say like Wolverine or something like that.
No,
Suicide Squad. Huh?
Yeah, Suicide Squad.
And,
I mean, like,
I seen that trailer and those like particle effects and everything going on. It looks
dope.
It looks insane.
Yeah, so I would say Suicide Squad because we know that's coming out 2023. I don't know if Spider-Man's coming out 2023. I don't know.
Well, I was thinking Beyond just as
is it?
future as
I mean, dude, we're getting fucking Venom. Let's go. And then it would be Spider-Man at that point. Yeah.
Okay. You said Venom. That would be really cool. I'd love to see that, and I'm really interested in did they ever say anything about that specifically? I thought there was like something in the trailer.
Oh yeah, you see,
Spider-Man
you see
2,
Venom.
Where
It's like, we already, and you just see, and it's the voice of the original Candyman. It's fucking dope.
Oh man. Man, you trying to give me nightmares, bro? Because that movie right there, me and the family would, or not the family, but me and like the other, my cousins and whatnot would go in, the restroom and look at the mirror and say the whole thing. I forgot what the speech was that you said in the mirror, but it was like crazy, so something crazy that was supposed to make him appear, and we'd like dare each other like one at a time to go in there. Because it was like the darkest, scariest bathroom, too, that they had.
No, Catholicism scared me enough. I can't do scary shit at all. I'm a coward.
Oh, man. So, 2 games that you'd want to bring back from the past to get AAA treatment.
Oh, man. Back from the past. Just give me Bloodborne. Just do it. It's been 7 years. It's old enough. I'll consider it.
Fair. I'll take it.
And then... Listen, I say shit I don't have any inside source. I don't claim to know a goddamn thing.
You're putting that out there.
But on the trophy room, instead of claiming that we have insider information, we say things with confidence, we say things with gusto, and ergo, things will happen. Those things will happen. We're going to bring Syphon Filter back from the dead. There's reports of PlayStation... making their own Splinter Cell.
Like, wasn't that supposed to be I thought that was like they had their like a rating out for it or something like that already.
Now that's for the tier list. So it looks like you may be able to buy PlayStation 2 games. You may not need the service. Okay. So Syphon Filter for PS1 and PS2, I believe, have been rated. So that'll probably
that
be
clears that up.
Yep. But I think we're gonna get a new Syphon Filter.
What makes you believe that then? If that is,
saying with confidence, I'm saying with gusto, we're gonna get another, Syphon Filter.
You're just all right. You're just putting your foot down. Look, more or less.
Again, rumor has it PlayStation is making their own apparent Splinter Cell-esque game, which makes me think Splinter Cell, bend with the lack of success of Days Gone, needs a safe bet. And I think Syphon Filter was a safe bet. And from coming off of interviews from the past, they have pitched Syphon Filter, but they didn't go with Syphon Filter. So maybe they go back to the well and go, you know what? let's see what Siphon Filter can do for us. So I think that is Ben's most important task, is getting this, whatever the Siphon Filter game is, off the ground. Siphon Filter it is.
All right.
You've heard it here first, folks.
And I'm loving what the chat's saying as well. Like Bushido went on ahead and said Chrono Trigger and Azura's Wrath.
Oh, Azura's Wrath's dope, dude.
Yep. Spun Speculation Mav says Siphon Filter would be dope, but he also said bring back Infamous. And
He's like
Bushido
typical Joe with the
said it
Bloodborne.
in all caps right after him. Infamous.
Dude, who knows? Who knows? Anything can happen.
I feel like Sucker Punch, that's an easy dub right there if they bring that back.
But also, like, I'm looking at Ghost of Tsushima right now, dude. This fucking game is, like, honestly, like, so for me, my, like, I don't know, this may be a question. My three favorite games of all time is Bloodborne, Ghost of Tsushima, and God of War.
Wow.
Like, they're all tied. I love them all that much.
Okay.
And, like, Ghost
that
of Tsushima,
wasn't a
like,
question, so that's fine that you said that.
Yeah. Like Ghost of Tsushima, I want to visit that fucking island and buy those socks that I saw on VGC. I'm not joking. I want to go there. Let's go.
Are you talking about like the socks with like the toe?
So real talk. Western game journalists would like to tell you how offensive that game is because Western folks made it. But the island of Tsushima, to get tourists in, have actually collaborated with PlayStation to make Ghost of Tsushima like socks and like shirts and shit that you can only get on the island.
Wow.
So
now it's a destination.
Yeah, like I never wanted to go to Japan until that game.
Yep. Now they they marketed it well, man.
Dude.
Yeah, that sounds pretty dope.
So good.
That's incredible. I didn't know that about the Ghost of Tsushima, how they were selling their own gear from the game on that island, and you can only get it there. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. But yeah, and listen, I want Infamous as well. I think there's a great story to be told. It's just the only thing that sucks is like they have a superhero game now, so like they don't necessarily need it. And Sony and Disney are really close, so something tells me Spider-Man may stay PlayStation console exclusive for a while.
I wouldn't doubt it. I don't see. I mean, it's having plenty of success. Why would you mess with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know. We have 3 more questions left, and the first one is just wondering, like just me wondering all around, if you were to pick anything in particular, what frustrates you in gaming?
Fanboys, man, I fucking hate them so much. That's what frustrates for me in gaming.
That didn't take you no time.
No, yeah, I really hate it. I really hate it. I loathe it. Because it is here's the thing. So real talk. Like people that audiences like mine, or just Xbox folks, or anything, we are actually some of the smallest creators when it comes to gaming. Like what we would consider a big YouTuber in our space is actually probably maybe a mid-tier in the overall game space. But somehow we are able to take that small, very, very, very vocal minority and make it so extremely toxic and palpably toxic. Like it is just shit. So I there are like creators and there are like shows that I'm looking at going like, you're not helping anyone here, bud. And it sucks because again, developers would be more willing to tell you what it's like to make a Starfield, but not just because of NDAs that they can't. It's because fanboys are going to shit all over them. Right. It's really hard to get meaningful guests on the show. Like it's really hard to find people like, it's hard to find like people like, industry folks, not meaningful. Sorry, it was the wrong word. To get industry folks on the show when you're like, I'm a PlayStation show. And they're like, well, what type of PlayStation show? So it's like
Yeah, you have to
you
you
have
have to
to
really come with your card correct.
yeah. And so you have to you really have to, because they're like, oh yeah, what type of Xbox show are we doing? That it sucks that it can't be, hey, we have this show, we really want to just pick your brain on this thing. It sucks that the culture that we've created has been so fucking toxic.
Yeah, it's like you already got to get vetted for who you are.
Yeah.
But then now there's an extra layer of, well, like, do you like, are you really good buddies with these people? Because I don't want them to just pop up or be on the show randomly and then just like, I mean, we've seen it recently. I'm not going to throw any names out there, but we've seen it recently where it's just like, man, like you have a really cool guest on and you just gang up on them, and it's just not
Oh
fun.
yeah, one of those.
You
Yeah.
know, they think it's entertaining, but it's cringe.
It's cringe. It's embarrassing
So cringe.
for
And
all people involved.
well, especially like people. I mean, like you and myself that are like, I'm trying to hit people up and be like, hey, man, get on the show and let's just kick back and talk about your history with games and whatnot. And
Yeah.
you know, and it's not me that they're like frustrated with. They just don't. Their just level of trust is just so small that they're just like, I don't know, like I'm sure you're cool, but I just don't even want to get in the ring with that right now, man.
Yeah. There are some people that again, no names, but they've been on. So like, I'll ask them to, hey, would you like to be on our show? And they'll be like, yeah, no, I just did one. It wasn't great. So you could come back to me later when I'm in a better mindset. I'm like, shit, that's a fucking shame.
Yeah,
You know?
right. The last show ruined an opportunity for somebody else that
Yeah.
could totally be a good experience or
Yeah. Because
just
you
a
made it.
chill experience at the very least.
And like those people that like yell at like people like David Jaffe, which is like, then why are you doing that, you idiot? But also like, David, why are you there? But like, nonetheless,
Facts. You
it's
gotta
like
kind of read the crowd a little
there,
bit.
there are some people that do it because they think they're going to gain fame and notoriety, and again, gifts made out of their image, which is weird. Um, and then there are people that are like on the other side of the spectrum that are fucking sad. And like this does mean literally everything to them, which is like, real talk. If Sony went down under tomorrow, you know how easy it'd be for me to still call it the Trophy Room, a video game podcast. Simple. That. So like, this is some people's fucking identities, and it's really scary that that's the case. There needs to be a healthy balance between appreciating a brand and then just outright worshiping it, and this is the only thing that can exist. It is really, really weird, and
Yeah.
I don't jive with that.
Well, I mean, you said it yourself, and I said it myself already. Like, I was the guy that was like, I don't like this, I don't care about that, like whatever. In all actuality, I couldn't afford it. Like, I couldn't
Yeah,
afford to be everywhere. But like, I ended up growing up, and especially the Xbox One generation helped me grow up and realize, they're not the only they're not the only platform out there to do great things, obviously. And I knew that because I previously had a PlayStation 2 and a PlayStation 1 and
yeah,
Sega and all these other consoles and whatnot.
yeah.
I know,
Also,
I knew
the
better.
shit
I was
that
just stubborn,
the
Just
shit that
stubborn.
bugs me are the people that are like, I can't be biased because I own all the consoles. Like, no,
Oh, you
you're
can be
just bad
biased.
with your money. That's it. That's all you're telling me. Just because you bought something doesn't mean you're not biased. And also, we're all human. We're all gonna be biased. This is not. It's just letting your bias be known. That's it. That's important.
It's mostly all about learning because, like, I mean, a lot of us, you know, think or have thought a similar way, but it's
Mhm.
like, what do you do with the knowledge after you realize you screwed up? Are
Yeah.
you gonna stand on that hill or are you gonna move on? Because I moved on. I was just tired of missing out. I was, it's just unnecessary.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I'm here and I'm happy, and and I can actually afford this stuff, so it's not like I have a reason to even be mad anymore. It's like, dude, I can get this now, and I can
Yeah.
enjoy it. And in fact, I went back and bought a bunch of stuff that I used to have, because it's like, man, like ain't nothing like nostalgia. It's a hell of a drug.
Hell of a drug.
It is a hell of a drug. But moving on to the second to last question, dream come true for you in the gaming community. Now it's a flip question.
What would be a dream come true?
Yeah, and it can be anything.
Oh, I'm gonna be cliche and say it already happened. I mean, I got a thing in the gaming industry. I've like the cool thing is like, I knew about this, like the Amy Hennig Star Wars game before it happened. That was wild,
That's dope.
and it was just like cool. Like, and again, I don't need to be one of those people like, I got the inside source here, guys. I'm going to tell you something a little fucking crazy to get some hits on my show, because that's not my announcement to make. So that being said, yeah, I got it. I did it. I did the grind. I'm here as an industry professionale. But like the goal that I want to see, it's just Bloodborne 2, man. When are we gonna get it, dude? When are we gonna get it? Because like my thing isn't honestly, my thing isn't an acquisition, because I don't generally like them. So like when people are like From Software and PlayStation, I'm like, that would suck for people that love From Software on Xbox. I don't want to do that to you. When it comes to like Square Enix, it's like, I don't want to do that to you either. I know it's gonna eventually happen, but like, I don't want to do that to you. Sucks. So just, I don't know. Just show me something I haven't seen before. I know that sounds cliche, but that's really it.
Okay. That's an interesting dream right there. Show them something they ain't never seen before. All right, so the last question I have for you is pretty much, do you have any questions for me? And the last couple weeks, like, one of them was like, how did I get into podcasting? Another one was how I got into gaming. So what I'm just trying to do is relay that to you, so I don't end up telling my guests the exact same story over and over, in case you do have any questions.
What's your end game, man?
What's my end game? Ooh,
What's your
I
end
like
game?
that question. My end game would be to just have a like I want to continue doing podcasts and stuff like that. My end game is just to be like a place that is safe for people to come to, fun for people to come to. I feel like some of what I got right now with this show is kind of what I want to base my end game kind of on, is because all in all, my favorite thing, like, games is like the reason why I'm doing this, sure. But my actual thing is just meeting people and just, finding a common medium, because part of my show is like showing that, we're all loving the same thing, just in different ways. And 90% of my questions are said every episode to everybody, but everybody has a different take, and then we dive into further questions that kind of branch off of that question. So my whole thing is to literally just continue to meet great people, whether they are just your average Joe gamer or somebody big like Phil Spencer, Bowser, Ryan, or something like that. That would be my end game, is to be able to reach those kind of levels with this kind of content. I just really enjoy people's company, and I really enjoy hearing other people's story and how they got to where they are.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Sorry, that's a good end game to have. And I want to also go to, because Matt said something great. Admitting bias or preference would go a long way for journalists as well. That is true. Like we saw it today. Like to me, like a lot of like the people that I have the absolute, you know, luck of meeting, they don't really give a shit where they're playing. Most of the time, they're just there to play a game. Like their bias to me doesn't typically lend on one way or the other. They're actually, I think, when it comes to journalists, they're more like the average consumer of like the Johnny B. Lately. Like, what are you offering me right now? And I'll go there. But their biases are in other, to me, from what I've seen, are in other areas. So, like, we saw a lot of people jump on Gene Park today because he did a show with Colin. And I disagree with Colin on literally most, if not all, the things in the world. But to say that one man shouldn't be on another man's show because I agree or disagree with him in his ideology on most things, or even just most of the things he says, that's silly. I wouldn't tell anybody where they can or can't go or who they can or can't talk to. I think it's the reason why we have such a problem, and just not just like in the country, but in the world. Like nobody wants to talk to each other anymore. We just want to all go into our echo chambers and kind of just, you know,
And
feel validated. And sometimes you just need to have uncomfortable conversations with people you disagree with. Because I do that shit all the time.
right. And I mean, like I said, that's pretty much the point of why I have this show, is because I like to disagree. I like to argue, but I like it to feel safe. Like me and you talking about Tiny Tina's,
Yeah,
totally different takes.
yeah,
Totally different takes. You liked that game, and I'm just thrashing it because like you said, oh, I'm not that big of a Borderlands fan. I am.
yeah,
So like me playing Tiny Tina's, I was just like, this. I understand that it's Tiny Tina's, but it doesn't hit right for me.
yeah,
It doesn't hit right, and I like having those kind of conversations and just seeing people's history throughout the games, because I'm always learning stuff. I'm never gonna be one of those people to say, "Oh yeah, I know everything," or "I know all about it," or "I know this hardware like the back of my hand." No, I don't. I don't work for these
yeah.
companies.
No,
I don't. I don't know all of that stuff. So what I'm trying to do is learn. I'm using my platform not only to show other people who these people are, but I want to learn not only about them, but about the stuff that I love.
yeah. It's the reason why you see a lot of Xbox folks on my shows because it'd be a really weird show if we're all just agreeing.
Yeah.
It'd be really boring as well. And even like a lot of my show is like me playing devil's advocate with Kyle, kind of fucking with him a little bit, just so that he stays on his toes. And when it comes to like having different guests on the show, it just means you're adding a different perspective.
Right.
Because if we're having the same like Xbox is great, PlayStation sucks, or PlayStation is great, Xbox sucks, that's a stupid. It's I've heard enough. I've heard
Yeah,
enough of it.
and you tune in knowing what you're gonna get, and it's boring from the start.
Hey, some people want to feel validated, but that's not what I'm here to do. There's been a lot of people that are like, "You talk too nice about Game Pass." Oh, all right, I'm sorry. It's like
Yeah,
I don't even use it that much. I just know it's good.
yeah. Am I supposed to say it's terrible just because I'm an enthusiast of a different platform?
Real talk. I've used my Xbox, and I have to send it back as a goddamn HDMI, but I've literally used it 3 times in the past 3 months. I'm telling you, Game Pass. I have it. They got me month to month, whatever. Game Pass, best deal in gaming. That's it. That's it. It's great. It's better than the PlayStation Plus tiers. All of them. It's great. It's the reason why I have the Xbox and I don't turn it on. It's just for the off chance that there's something awesome on Game Pass. I go and I play it.
Right.
Simple. It's great. Love it.
And I'm the exact opposite. I have a good amount of PlayStation 5 games. I turn it on twice a week, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an Xbox guy.
Yeah.
That's just at the end of the day, that's what I am. But
Yeah.
like I told you earlier, I'm not gonna be stubborn enough to lose out on a good ass time, and on top of it, meet a ton of dope ass people in the process.
Exactly.
Like it's fun, and I mean, sometimes we play the joke back and forth about console passion and all that stuff, just as a fun joke. But like it's never anything malicious. And at the end of the day, and at the end of the conversation, everybody knows, I don't really give a damn. I'm just here to play games, man, and have a good time.
Yeah.
And if you can show me my next favorite game, please do. I mean, that's the whole reason I ended up getting this PS5 is because everybody was making me hella jealous on some of these games. So like, I'm just done missing stuff. It's just not happening anymore. I'm a grown ass man.
That's right. That's right.
Stuff. But Mr. Badbit, we're gonna go on ahead and cut this show right now. I really appreciate you for coming out to my show, being super duper professional, being a good guy, and having some really interesting short stories to share with my guest today and me as well. Please, you guys, make sure that you hit that like button on your way out. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this show and you want more of this kind of content later on. And as well, you can find me on Twitter at HamSolo05Gaming. Yeah, hitting all the buttons. Yeah, 05 Gaming, and then and then you can also check me out on Sunday on my other podcast, which is the Game Drain with Matt Likes Games, Hard Days Mike, and it's me, Twan, from Twitter as well, if you guys want to check out those guys. But please, go on ahead and let everybody know one more time where they can find Mr. Badbit.
Yeah, man. So you can find me over on Twitter at Mr. Badbit. You can find my show on Twitter at PS Trophy Room. And you can find the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players, where each and every Thursday, me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. Over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, where we've hit over 650 plus reviews, which has been fantastic. You can find us over on YouTube at the Trophy Room Show. And my man, thank you so much for having me. And I can't wait to just crash and fall asleep. It's gonna be great. And I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and go to a meeting.
Yeah, I feel that. So you guys heard it right there out of the horse's mouth.
That's right.
But anyways, you heard it from him, where you can find some dope PlayStation content that's not gonna be triggering everybody just to kind of get some clicks or whatnot. But definitely go check out my man right here, Mr. Badbit. Great guy, as you see, very fun and entertaining to listen to. But you guys